economy is complaining about the cost of gasoline these days. There is no question for OPEC, crude oil is their black gold. But for the rest of us, it is, believe it or not, printer's ink. As you know, computer printers these days are dirt cheap. But just a couple of replacement ink cartridges can often cost much more than the computer printer itself. On a per-ounce basis, the ink in this cartridge can be more expensive than a fine French perfume, caviar, or even a great California Cabernet Sauvignon. All of which helps to explain why the business of refilling ink cartridges like this has become so huge. Here at Cartridge World in Wantagh, which is a franchise of an Australian company, they claim they can actually save 60% over the cost of replacing the original manufacturer's cartridges. To learn more about this whole business of refilling and remanufacturing cartridges, we sat down with Cliff Nonemacher. He is the owner of Cartridge World, and got him to explain just what this business is all about.
Our core business is refilling ink cartridges, empty ink cartridges, and remanufacturing laser cartridges.
So what's the advantage of refilling an empty ink cartridge?
The advantage is save time, save money, save the environment. Our costs are save up to 60% in remanufacturing and refilling. Ink is flat 50% savings.
You know, you use the term remanufacture a lot. What do you really mean when you say remanufacture?
We actually take the cartridge, the original OEM that is now spent and empty. Instead of throwing it away, I tell people it's empty, not broken. Give me the cartridge, we replace all the internal working components. The drum, the wiper blade, the doctor blade, anything that would actually enhance or take away from the image, because we do not want to sacrifice quality. So refilling lasers is taboo in our industry. We literally remanufacture. The same way it was originally manufactured, well, we remanufacture them by using the old core of the cartridge.
Is that necessary to remanufacture it?
Great question. Our industry, in its infancy, when it was born, they wouldn't remanufacture. They didn't have the technology or the aftermarket parts. So they would call what's drill and fill. They would drill the cartridge and fill it from the toner hopper, never taking all the replacement parts out, never repairing any damage that was inside the cartridge. And that gave the industry a bad name. We've come a long way since then. It's a huge industry, $8 billion in total of market capitalization of the remanufacturing industry. And we replace every internal component of the cartridge. So there is only one way to do it, and that's the right way. And that's remanufacturing, not refilling.
Is there any downside at all to using remanufactured cartridges?
There is absolutely no downside to using a remanufactured cartridge or a refilled ink cartridge. It's purely upside. I like to view every relationship that exists between risk and reward. There is clearly way more upside than risk in this business relationship.
Who primarily utilizes the services that you have to offer?
Well, the Cartridge World franchise is basically two-tier. One, you have the walk-in traffic coming through the front door. And then you have the salespeople going out the back door, we'll call it, for all intents and purposes. So we're going after companies in the back door, and we have the local communities walking in the front. The mom and pa's, the small business operators that don't quantify or qualify for delivery. So we'll just let them walk in the front door with an empty cartridge and refill it while they wait. Most of the time we have an inventory in stock of the most common cartridges, whether it be laser, copier, toner, fax, in stock, and we just swap the empty with the new.
In addition to remanufacturing, I can see on your wall out here you also sell original manufacturer's cartridge, though, right?
There's always a place for original product, always. But there's always a place, more so, for a remanufactured cartridge.
And they can tell the difference, really?
No way. Even the professional eye, even the professional discriminating eye would have a very hard time differentiating OEM ink or OEM toner versus the remanufacturing industry. Very, very difficult.
And can you do this on virtually any cartridge?
Fax machines, even thermal ribbons, carbons, etc., ink, everything. Bubble jet, inkjet, laser printers. We handle the whole gamut. I like to think that we can remanufacture up to 90%.
You know, up to now we've just been talking about black ink. What about color inks? Do you deal in those too?
Absolutely. Big business, color inks. Big business. Love all the color inks. I love it when the amateur photographer or the professional photographer will come in and say, okay guys, here's a challenge. I'm a photographer. I've been using OEM inks. The colors better match. We say, challenge us. And every time the guy will come back and say, I cannot believe that you can do this with the proper color match for half the price.
And again, the final product is as good, if not better, than the original.
Absolutely. It's brilliant. I mean, we had a couple of people that work for pretty large companies that wanted to do a testimony to say his cartridge clearly prints better than the original.
Give me an idea of the kind of money someone can save by refilling cartridges.
The amounts of money that we save the end user of a printed consumable, I would like to think is up to 60%, but I always guarantee the consumer a minimum guaranteed savings of 30%. That's where I like to start. Instead of over-promising and under-deliver, I like to under-promise and over-deliver. So I tell them all the time, give me the opportunity to earn your business. Tell me what printers you have in your office or home. Let me give you a quote. I will guarantee you a minimum savings of 30%, up to 60%. Clearly, every time we win the bid. Every time.
Isn't it true that the manufacturers of the original products tell you not to use or refill your cartridges?
It's a brilliant scare tactic, and for most people who don't question some type of authoritative statement, they will succumb to the pressure and say, oh, no, I can't buy a remanufactured cartridge to avoid my warranty. I would love, on a public platform such as this, to tell people that that is diametrically opposed to the truth. The truth of the matter is that federal law prohibits the original manufacturer from voiding your warranty because you chose, as a consumer, not to buy the OEM's consumable.
How big an industry would you say this is?
This industry is now peaking about $8 billion. $8 billion in the remanufacturing industry, from the sources that reverse engineer the chips and parts to the actual sellers, wholesalers, brokers of empties. It's becoming quite the business. It was a business in its infancy, started basically 20 years ago when the first inkjets came out, and now it's becoming a part of mainstream America.
Suppose somebody wants to get into this business. Is it possible?
Absolutely. For the individual seeking assistance or franchising opportunities in the state of New York and Connecticut, I recommend they contact me or just go to our website, www.cartridgeworld.com. But there are franchising opportunities all over New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, New York, as well as the rest of the country. Every major marketplace in the United States has a master franchisee in charge of building out that territory, and they would welcome in open arms the opportunity to tell this story.
Interestingly, what kind of reaction do you get from the clients who've utilized your services? What do you hear?
There was a book that came out called Raving Fans. I think we're going to redefine the term raving fans. They're raving. I think in any major marketplace such as New York, you cannot compete with a cost-cutting idea. There are a lot of businesses that open that want to spend your money. There are not a lot of businesses that open up that want to save you time and money in the environment. It's almost a political platform to stand on as a business owner, because you can say, I've aligned my interests with Cartridge World. All right, I'm playing my part as a company, social awareness, to play my part in the local community. I don't throw my cartridges out anymore. I remanufacture them. And every time I do that as a company, I know I'm saving 1.25 gallons of oil from the environment and 500 years of a cartridge sitting in a landfill.
The true story on the way to save money on computer ink cartridges by having them remanufactured and refilled, which is what they specialize in here at Cartridge World. I'm Doug Llewellyn reporting from Wantagh, Long Island.
Thank you for joining us on this special edition of Close Up on America's Business.